My name is Edith Jonathan.
And I'm Aurelia Coates.
And this is the South Bristol Scoop. We had an interview with the 7th grade about their recent week-long trip to Camp Kiev in Noblesboro. Let's hear what they had to say.
Hello, my name is John Moxley, and I'm here reporting for South Bristol Scoop with the 7th graders. What did you do when you were at Kiev for the week?
Well, personally, I mostly climbed, but they had a lot of challenges, like to challenge your ability and your teamwork skills.
Yeah, just like a lot of team activities with your day group.
And what was your favorite part about it?
Climbing, but also the challenges were okay.
I really liked our cabin groups, like hanging out in our cabin.
And how many activities did you do there on a typical day?
We spent like each hour doing it. It was like 2 hours before a snack, and then we had like lunch, and then another snack, and then we had more activities over and over again. So it was a couple long hours till we got back to the cabin.
Yeah, just basically all day doing activities, so a lot.
And how long was the drive there?
I would say like an hour maybe, not far.
I'd say like 30 minutes, like it was not that long.
And if you could change one thing about it, what would it be?
I don't really know. I wouldn't change anything about it. It was pretty fun.
I'd say I'd climb more, because I only climbed on our last day, so I could climb more days.
And what was one of the activities you did?
Climbing, mostly. I tried all of the climbings at least once.
A lot of teamwork, like challenges. Like there was this one where it was like a big seesaw thing, and we had to like balance it and stuff.
And if you could, would you do it again?
Yeah, probably. I'd probably do it again. It was a fun thing to do.
Yeah, I would do it again.
And what was the most interesting thing there?
My day group.
I don't know, climbing, I guess.
What did you eat when you were there?
They had a pretty good salad bar, and they had very good food, sandwich bars for lunch, and they had good dinners planned out and breakfasts, so it was pretty good.
Yeah, like tacos and sandwiches and burgers and stuff.
What was your favorite thing that you ate?
Probably the salads. They were really good.
Yeah, I did like the salads.
Thanks for watching the South Bristol Scoop.
Next up, we had an interview with the 8th grade on their upcoming graduation. Let's hear what they have to say.
Hello, my name is Edith Jonathan, reporting for the South Bristol Scoop. Today I'm here with Sam, Azel, Mackenzie, and Helena. I'm going to interview them about graduating. How are you feeling about graduation?
I'm excited, but also a little nervous.
Don't care.
Feeling excited.
I don't really care.
How do you feel about going to high school?
I'm excited for the new opportunities.
Just want to learn.
I'm very excited to get out of this school.
I'm excited.
What are you looking forward to in high school?
A lot of like the sports teams.
Can't wait for my brother.
Playing sports and being able to see all my other friends.
Having more variety in what I can do.
Do you plan to join any clubs or sports?
Yeah.
Not planning on it.
Yeah.
Yep.
What high school are each of you going to?
I'm going to Lincoln Academy.
Lincoln Academy.
Lincoln Academy.
Lincoln Academy.
What are some of your favorite memories you have of SBS?
I enjoyed DC.
Don't have any.
Kiev.
Kiev and DC.
What is something you're gonna miss about SBS?
The familial environment.
I don't know.
Some of the teachers. Some of the teachers.
Thank you, and thanks for watching the South Bristol School.
The 8th graders went to DC recently, and we want to know how it went.
Hello, I'm here reporting for the South Bristol Scoop with 8th graders Sully, Ava, and Lainey. And I've got questions for their DC experience. Did you enjoy your trip?
Yes. Yes, I did.
Quite a bit.
Were you scared on the plane?
Indubitably. I felt myself shaking as the plane took off.
No, I've been on planes quite a few times, so yeah. No.
I've also been on quite a few planes, so I wasn't very scared.
Nice. What was your favorite part of this trip?
Probably the food.
Just knowing that we were like on a vacation with our friends and stuff is pretty fun.
Yeah, I liked the experience, like being with all your classmates and getting to know each other more.
Sounds interesting. What did you find most interesting?
The African American History Museum.
Probably the Holocaust Museum.
The zoo.
What was your favorite meal?
Carmine's.
Carmine's as well.
Also Carmine's.
Which museum was your favorite?
The Holocaust.
Air and Space.
Spy Museum.
How much money did it cost to go to DC?
We raised $15,000.
Did you enjoy raising $15,000?
Not really.
Anything to add to that?
No.
Which monument was your favorite?
The World War I monument.
The Lincoln Memorial.
I like the Washington Monument because you can see it from like anywhere in the city.
Thanks, and thank you for watching the South Bristol Scoop.
We went down to the South Bristol Co-op and interviewed the manager. Let's hear what she had to say.
Hello, I'm here at the South Bristol Co-op with the manager, Laura.
Hi, nice to see you guys.
And I've got a couple questions for you. So can you tell us a little bit of the history of the co-op?
Sure. About 50 years ago, there was gentlemen that were fishermen that were lobstering around here, and they took it upon themselves to develop the co-op. They took their personal funds, some of them even putting a mortgage on their home, to get funds to buy the fuel tanks, buy the lobster tanks, buy the property, and everything that goes with the co-op. So it was owned by the fishermen, and over the years, they became more and more fishermen got involved, and they all become members after fishing here and getting voted in. And that's how that company actually started. It was by a handful of fishermen.
Wow, that's awesome. How is a co-op different from a store?
So from a store, so say an individual owns the store, like a private owner, or maybe some partners, or it is a corporation. Those individuals take the money that the company makes and it belongs to them. In this instant, the money that we make here in our store, in our restaurant, with our lobsters and crabs, all the money that's made after expenses is given out in a bonus to the fishermen. For every lobster they sell, they get paid a bonus check on top of their lobsters. So once a year, after we find out how much the money the company made, then it's distributed out by however many pounds that they sold. So it's not even just the captain, it would be the stern man on the boat. So they all get a portion of it. So basically, the money all goes to the families that are fishermen's families.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How does this co-op work?
This co-op works as we buy lobsters and we buy crabs right from the fishermen. We also do get halibut out here. There are some tuna fish out here. And in the summertime, there's a lot of pogies out here. So the boats go pogie fishing and we buy pogies off the boats. And so we buy those items. We also buy fish from our gentleman who buys our lobsters, he also processes fish. So we buy fish from him and we buy fish from some other places. And we sell fish in the summertime. We sell all sorts of things: oysters, clams, mussels, crab meat. And we also make things in the restaurant. So we make lobster rolls and crab rolls and chowder, and we cook lobster dinners. And so they make money off of that. And then off of all our gear that we wear, all our South Bristol clothing, we have hats and jackets and all sorts of t-shirts and everything. So we make money in the store, and we make money from our seafood products and food that we buy and sell and bait that we buy and sell. And then that's how we make money.
How many pounds of lobsters were caught by co-op fishermen in 2024?
I had to get my notes out so I can remember the numbers. So in 2024, for the year, for the whole state of Maine, there was 86 million pounds of lobsters caught.
Wow.
Here at our co-op last year, we caught over 845,000 pounds.
Wow.
But it kind of tells you how much, one place may catch compared to another. There's other places that have a lot more fishermen than us, and other places that have a lot less. So everybody catches, different amounts and lands different amounts. But overall, the state catches, so many pounds. And if we look at what's happening right now, there hasn't been a lot of lobsters caught for this year so far.
Yeah.
So our landings are down and our price was up. But now there's possible tariffs happening, a lot of things going on in other countries, and the price has been kind of volatile, so that our price dropped down a lot a month or so ago, and now it just peaked up a little again because of the supply and demand that's out there. But now we're starting to see they're starting to catch lobsters again. So, and that happens when there's a lot of lobsters and they flood the market. What will happen? The price will go down. So it's dependent a lot upon what they're catching and what the prices are in other places.
How much does a lobster usually weigh?
A lobster starts about a pound, and then it goes up to around 4.5 pounds. But when we buy a lobster, we don't buy it according to how much it weighs. We buy it according to the measure of it. So we have a lobster measure that goes on its head, and that's how we tell if it's a legal lobster or not. And then we remember if it's a female lobster and it has eggs on it, the fishermen have to cut a V in its tail and they throw it back overboard so that it can stay and produce more lobsters in the future.
Yeah. How is lobstering this year compared to past years?
Lobstering this year, it actually hasn't been too bad, but there's a little bit less lobsters right now. That's the biggest thing. And the price being what it is and the way the economy is right now, our lobsters, we feel as the fisherman industry that the price should be higher. When you compare your lobster to what a pound is compared to other products that you'll see in the stores.
What is your role in the co-op?
So I'm the manager. So right now I'm working up in the office, taking care of the paperwork. I'm working in the store and getting it ready for the restaurant to get ready. And we are just buying and selling lobsters every day. And then we have a dock manager who takes care of the dock and that things right now.
Yeah. How long have you worked here?
I've worked here for 7 years already.
Oh, wow.
But I've worked in the lobster industry for a lot longer.
Yeah. How do workers get paid, and where does the money come from?
The money comes from how we talked about when we buy and sell lobsters and bait and things in the store and other seafood products. So the profit that it makes, we pay employees out. The employees are actually an expense, just like utilities. We have to have employees to run a business. So we pay the employees out of the company's money, and that's how they get paid. So if our cost of labor went really high, then we won't have a big profit to give to the fishermen later on. So everything we try to keep balanced out.
Yeah. What days are you open?
We are open 7 days a week. And starting Friday on Memorial Day, our restaurant will be open, and we'll be open 8 to 6 every day.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Are you usually open in the winter?
We are open in the winter. Our restaurant's not open, but we are open for the lobstermen, and we're open if somebody wanted to get fuel or they wanted to buy some lobsters or seafood. So we're open in the wintertime, but our hours are more winter hours. And of course, if it's a giant storm, we're not open.
Are you hiring right now?
We are hiring. So summertime and the employment the way it is, it's hard to find help. So usually everybody is hiring at the moment. You'll see a sign in a lot of windows as you go around.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you.
thank you.
And thanks for watching the South Bristol Scoop.
We also had an interview with Mr. Kellett about SBS Weekly Enrichment Program. Let's take a few moments to hear what he had to say to our questions. Hello, my name is Edith Jonathan, reporting for the South Bristol Scoop here at South Bristol. Today I'm going to interview Mr. Kellett about enrichment. What is enrichment?
So enrichment is a time during the week where students can do activities and explore interest outside of their normal school classes.
Who does enrichment?
So the 5th through 7th grade students do enrichment every Friday, but because the 8th graders are at boat shop, they miss out. And then the middle school teachers and some other staff help run the activities.
What enrichment activities are available at the moment?
So right now we have multi-sport as one of them, so it's a variety of different gym class sports and things that they'll do. And then there's a hiking enrichment, and there's also a tech enrichment, and right now they're doing virtual reality headset stuff. So cool things.
What other enrichment activities have been offered this year?
So this year there's been a Harry Potter club, there was flag football, ultimate frisbee, there's been a science craft thing, they made slime and ice cream, so a lot of good different activities. Usually we try to do one that's more active and then another that is a little bit more calm and relaxing.
When does enrichment happen?
Enrichment takes place at the end of the day on Fridays, so it's that last 40 minutes or so of our Fridays that all the students go to enrichment.
What do you enjoy about this part of your week?
I think it's a really good time for students to do something outside of their norm altogether. They get to explore interests that they share and things like that, where they can really go away from their normal classwork.
And what are students' favorite activities?
I know that the 5th grade really liked the Harry Potter Club. I think the entire 5th grade was in that. There's also a lot of interest in the various sports activities. We did volleyball and floor hockey that they really liked, and then also a lot of them liked the science activity, doing experiments.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
And thanks for watching the South Bristol Scoop.
And now South Bristol News. The 6th, 7th students have been working this year to paint mini replica buoys for each South Bristol fisherman. They have finished painting 47 buoys and hope to have another 30 complete by the end of the school year. Ultimately, there will be a large display with every South Bristol fisherman and the buoy at the South Bristol Historical Society. And now news from the rest of the world with Edith.
A massive Russian drone and missile attack happened on Ukraine, killing at least 12 people and injuring dozens. The war is now over 3 years old. President Donald Trump on Tuesday accused Russian President Vladimir Putin of playing with fire as Moscow continues battering Ukraine in the face of Trump's attempts to broker a peace deal in the end of the war. What Vladimir Putin doesn't realize is that if it weren't for me, lots of really bad things would have already happened to Russia. I mean, really bad things. Donald Trump wrote in a Truth Social post on late Tuesday morning. Now for some local sports with Aria. The Bristol and South Bristol girls softball team played Wiscasset. They won 12-5, and against Madomic Middle School this week, the girls won 11-9. Their record is 5 wins and 3 losses. The Bristol and South Bristol Middle School boys baseball team beat Wiscasset last week, and they lost to Madomic Middle School this week. The SBS Adventure Club is planning one last trip for the year, and it's happening this weekend. They'll spend 2 nights at Acadia National Park. Middle schoolers in the club will hike, camp, and enjoy time outside together. And now Lincoln Academy Sports and Scores with Edith. For baseball, for boys baseball, Lincoln Academy beat Leavitt 11-5.
they beat Gardner 7-6. The boys' record is now 3 wins and 10 losses, and 1 tie. Girls softball. The girls softball lost to Levitt 20-1. Their record is now 4 wins and 8 losses. Boys lacrosse. The boys lost to Mount Ararat 8-4. Their record is now 3-3. Girls lacrosse. The girls lost to Gardner 12-10, and their record is now 7 wins and 3 losses. For Lincoln Academy track and field, Lincoln Academy had a track meet against Brunswick High School, Maine Central Institute, Mount Blue High School, and Oceanside at Brunswick High School. For girls, Dylan Burmeister came in first place for the 400-meter dash and scored Lincoln Academy 8 points. Maggie Thompson came in third for the discus throw and scored Lincoln Academy 4 points. Lincoln Academy came in first for the 4x400-meter relay. The girls that scored were Dylan Burmeister, Maggie Thompson, Chloe Anderson, and Dahlia Saft. For the meet, the girls finished in 4th out of 5 teams. For the boys, Joseph Levesque and Calvin Wicks came in 2nd and 3rd for the boys' 110-meter hurdles and scored us 10 points in all. For the meet, the boys finished 3rd out of 5 teams. Let's pause for a moment before we move on to New England sports. We'd like to sincerely thank the sponsors of our program. Many thanks to the First National Bank, to the Coastal Locker Room, and the Rotary Legs Club. We couldn't do this without you. And now, New England sports with Aria. The Boston Celtics went into the NBA playoffs as the number 2 seed in the East. They beat the Orlando Magic 4-1 in the first round of the playoffs. They ended up losing 4-2 in the second round to the New York Knicks. It was a tough end to a great season. The Boston Red Sox continue to play .500 baseball. They win as many as they lose. Hopefully, they'll begin a winning streak soon. And now, down at the wharf. This is the most recent information from Ozier's Wharf, a longtime South Bristol establishment. For lobster prices, soft-shell lobster can be purchased for $7.99 per pound, and hard-shell lobsters are $8.99 per pound. Herring and pogies are $2.65 per pound, and lungfish are $3.65 per pound. And from the South Bristol Fishermen's Co-op, found in 1972. Soft-shell lobster is $10.99 per pound, and hard-shell lobster is $11.99 per pound. For bait, a box of pogies is $240 per barrel, and salted herring is $250 per barrel. The Co-op also sells fresh fish. Stop in or call for prices. And here's your 3-day weather forecast with Edith. The weather pattern will be cloudy this week. Saturday, it'll be a high of 56 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 52, and a 75% chance of rain. On Sunday, it'll be a high of 60 and a low of 51 and cloudy, but the sun will come out later. On Monday, it'll be a high of 59 and a low of 49 and sunny. And here's your 3-day tide forecast. Pay close attention to low tides if you want to get out there on those clam flats. The tide forecast for Saturday, May 31st, high tide is at 2:41 a.m. and 3:31 p.m. Low tide will be at 9:14 a.m. and 9:26 p.m. Sunday, June 1st, high tide will be at 3:39 a.m. and 4:29 p.m. Low tide will be at 10:11 a.m. and 10:27 p.m. And Monday, June 2nd, high tide will be at 4:39 a.m. and 5:26 p.m. Low tide will be at 11:07 a.m. and 11:29 p.m. This is our final episode of the South Bristol Scoop Season 1. To close out this show, let's look back at some highlights from the year. We visited the Lincoln Hospital operating room in May. We learned how to set up for a news show. We've enjoyed watching the bloopers from our show and watching how we've grown over the year.
Now let's check out some bloopers. And on Sunday, March 23rd, high tide will be at 5:58 p.m.
Yeah, and that's plenty big enough.
I don't know, man.
Size with a stand.
Vatican.
Keep saying this out. Vatican.
Vatican.
Okay. How big is one arm?
Vatican.
JD.
Wait. I want to see something. Wait.
There you go.
Stay still
Good.
for a second. I'm not actually going to do it.
Eat it.
Good, go.